Greetings, summoners. It's me, King Khan 5156, with my friend here, bobthetauren.
Hey guys.
And today we are bringing you our first ever League of Legends video with me as Nasus and my friend as Renekton. And so he's going to go over basically the backstory of Renekton and Nasus and why we're kind of having this little fight right now.
One of my favorite champions is Renekton. I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. And one of his favorite champions is Nasus. And since they're brothers, kind of intertwined in their lore, Nasus tried to kill Renekton. Renekton tried to kill Nasus.
All that stuff.
We decided to figure out, which one to actually win in a 1v1 fight. So we had this 1v1 to figure out exactly that.
Alright, so before we get into like the guide and tactics and build of Nasus and Renekton, I want to just go over like some basic stuff. So basically we decided just to start a YouTube account, and we want to know what y'all want to see. I mean, whether that being guides, builds, just games themselves, tactics, all that stuff. But if you want, just send us a message of what champions you would like to see a guide for or builds. Or if you even want to play against us or with us. We welcome it all. Just send us a message. We'll set up a game or something. Just wherever you want. Just email us, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. So now that we got all that stuff out of the way, Bob, you want to go over your build for and guide for Renekton real quick?
Alright, so Renekton is a high damage top lane champion who likes to farm minions really well with all his AoE damage that he has, and likes to harass in lane. You have to harass with him. You have to actually snowball with him if you want to win your lane, because apparently he doesn't have a very good late game. I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. You want to get those last hits always. You want to build tanky at the beginning so that you can sustain in lane and get kills, dive turret a little bit, but then build attack damage. I usually go Frozen Mallet, Sunfire Cape for that crowd control and that AoE damage, and then I go Ravenous Hydra sometimes, or maybe a Warmogs if you want to go a little tankier. Finish off with either Atmas or a Black Cleaver or a Bloodthirster, depending on how the game's going. And your boots, you should take either the Ionian Boots of Lucidity for that core reduction so you can pop your ultimate more often, or you should take the Mercury Treads for the crowd control boots. And with Renekton, his abilities, his Q, which is the one you want to take first and max first, is a spin that does AoE damage and has 5% lifesteal for everything it hits. It also gains 5 Fury for each person it hits. His E is his W is a stun that does 2 times your basic attack damage, and his E is a dash that you can use twice if it hits an enemy minion or champion. It also has armor penetration, so it's good for knocking out the armor of those tankier champions. When you get your Fury Bar up to 50, you can use an enraged attack, which makes them basically twice as strong. Your spin does twice the damage and has 10% lifesteal instead of having 5%. And your W stuns for twice as long and hits 3 times for damage instead of 2. And your E shreds about twice as much armor and does twice as much damage.
Now, what is the Fury Bar? I'm confused about that.
Oh, the Fury Bar is something that's special to a few select champions in the game. And with Renekton, his passive is that each basic attack he gets 5 Fury, and once you have 50 Fury, you can spend 50 Fury. Basically, I have 80 right now. As you saw, I just used a Furious attack, and it used 50, and it makes his attacks hurt a lot more, and they're a lot stronger. When to use them? You want to use your Fury Q, which is your spin, and when you're in champions, when you're when you're between minions, so that you can get all that AoE lifesteal and get a lot of health back. You want to use your Fury to dive when you're going against a tanky champion, so you can get that life leech. Not life leech.
Lifesteal?
Armor pen.
Armor pen? I'm sorry.
And you want to use your W when you're trying to be like an anti-carry, so that you can stun their carries and try to get the CC on them and burst them down fast before they kill you. So you want to be really aggressive in lane with Renekton because he's a really good snowballing champion who needs to get that first kill to win his lane. So if you can get a gank on your lane or something like that, so you can be ahead. The ultimate, which I haven't talked about yet, is one of Renekton's greatest things. His ultimate allows him to 1v2 teams, 1v3 depending on how fed you are. It gives you 100 at max level. It gives you 600 extra health and gives you 100 100 damage per second in the AoE around you, which is a lot of damage and great for killing people. It's just terrific. The great thing about both of these people's ults is that it actually gives you health, doesn't give you a shield, so you can use it as like a heal if you really need to, as an escape. I wouldn't advise it. Well, I've done it before, but it's
not meant to be that way.
Last resort is escaping with your heal. You have a gap closer in for escaping. But so what do you want to say about Nasus?
All right, so let's just go from the beginning. I'm just gonna go over his abilities real quick, and then I'll get into his build and all that stuff. But Nasus' passive, which I find to be one of the greatest passives of the game, which is a natural lifesteal of 15%, which is a huge bonus to him. I mean, makes him very sustainable in lane, very hard to kill over time. I mean, so that's just a great passive all in all. And then his Q, which is his most main damaging item. You want to take that first. You want to max it as soon as possible. But basically what it does is when you have Siphoning Strike up his Q, and you kill an enemy champion or minion, it gains a permanent 3 damage onto his Q. So you want to get that farm up as much as possible, get it to as high of a level as it can be. And next ability, his W is called Wither, which is one of his best abilities ever. It is basically an exhaust unique to Renekton. Or sorry, not Renekton, Nasus. It does a massive slow health regen loss, all that stuff that just exhaust does basically. But it's much faster cooldown, much more available. That is the ability you want to max seconds. Now his E is called Spirit Fire, which is just a purple ring you see on the ground, like there. And it reduces the armor of whoever's inside the ring, but it doesn't do much damage. It's mainly just like a farming kind of crowd control ability. It's not the best, but I mean, use it when you're in a fight because it does damage over time.
He just used his Q and took about a fifth of my health. That's how strong it is.
Yeah.
And if you farm it a lot, if you have 200 creep score on that Q, it's an extra 600 damage. It's basically an ultimate in a Q on a 3-second cooldown.
Essentially.
It's really unfair.
Yeah, it is a great ability, but you have to make sure you get those last hits in. His R, like my friend Bob here said, much like Renekton's, he gets bigger, gains an extra amount of health. It's not permanent though, but it is extra, and it does an AoE, but unlike Renekton, instead of doing a flat damage AoE, it goes off the percentage of health of whoever is around it. So, I mean, it has its ups and downs. It can be either strong damage, or it can be weak if it's an 80 carry or something like that. But now I want to get into his build for Nasus. Right now, you're not going to see much of the build, seeing as this was just the beginning of the game. My friend just reminded me we gotta talk about the masteries. I completely forgot about that. But for Nasus, I usually take a 9/21 masteries, putting much emphasis into the defensive abilities, basically, just making him more of a tank, get some cooldown reduction here and there. And for his spells, I usually take an Flash Ignite, seeing as I already have my own exhaust. And then now onto his build. Right now, you're not gonna see much of it, like I said. But if we get to the end of the game and stuff like that, you'll see the full build. But the basic gist of it is just build tanky with them, seeing as your Q does most of your damage. But what I like to buy first is a Sunfire cape, just for that extra AoE. Next, I like to go for a Warmogs, just so I have even more health, can do even more damage, be in lane longer. After Warmogs, I usually go for an Atma's Impaler, just so I don't have to always rely on my Q. I do have a little bit of attack damage myself. After that, I usually like to build a Locket of Iron Solari, just even now for more health, cooldown reduction, makes me a bit better. Next, I usually get a Runic Bulwark for that health and armor. And then boots, I get Ionian Boots Lucidity for that cooldown reduction, all that good stuff. And then the last item, just basically... So, after you get those Iron Boots of Lucidity, you get that cooldown reduction. Basically, just build more tanky if you want, more mana if you want. So, I mean, just play it by ear, see how you're doing in the game. But now I want to go over the advanced tactics with Nasus. Yeah, I'll go over music. Now I just want to go over the advanced tactics real quick. So, basically, the one main thing is just make sure you get that Q farmed up as much as possible. But basically, what you want to start out, what you want to do first is basically you want to Q first, just do that first initial amount of damage. Then you want to wither them, put your Spirit Fire up so it does that continuous crowd control, armor reduction. And while that Spirit Fire is up, your Q should come off a cooldown. So you can hit them again, and then if they actually begin to fight back, you just pop your ult, get stronger, do area damage. So, I mean, you're just constantly damaging them no matter what. That's basically all the advanced tactics, really. Now I'm going to go into if you're playing against a Nasus. If you're playing against Nasus, just make sure you prevent him from getting that farm up as much as possible. Because if you stop him from getting that Q, he's basically useless. Without that Q, he is a terrible champion. So I'm just done from that. And also, keep an eye on his mana bar. Because the second that mana bar goes down to about below half, he is not going to be able to do much against you. He'll become very weak, very vulnerable. Towards the end of the video, you'll see the last kill, I had no mana, so he just comes in and wrecks me real quick. That was not fun. But that's basically all there is really to Nasus. He's an easy champion once you get down that farming, basically. But you want to go with the advanced tactics of Renekton?
Yeah. So Renekton's a little bit of you have to play with him a little bit to get him to work. What you want to do is you can farm from a long way away because of that spin that you have, the dive in. So what you want to do is you want to dive into into minions, and then dive again into the champion for the harassment, and then spin for the extra life, and then get out of there. So you have to know when to use your abilities. Obviously, you want to stun them under your turret, but don't stun them under their turret, because the stun takes a long time to happen. It's a long cast time, and you'll be sitting on your turret for 2 more shots, which is like a lot of your health when you're low level. So don't do that. That's a bad idea. You can jump over walls with your spin, but it's a very, very, very short range spin. So I wouldn't advise jumping over. You can't jump over. For instance, you can't jump over your base wall, which is really unfortunate. But you can jump over the blue buff wall, jump over red buff wall, jump over dragon wall. It's a really good escape tool. What you want to do with Renekton is you want to take masteries of attack damage, and so 21 and 9, a little bit in defense. You want to take. Some people take Ghost, but I take a Flash just for the extra escapability and for jumping over walls. I can't jump over myself. And then you obviously take Ignite for those early kills because you need to snowball. So yeah, it's about all the advanced tactics for Renekton. Now you can see the builds that we're going on right now. As you saw, I built a Sunfire Cape and a Frozen Mount already, and I'm working towards my Warmogs, and I have a cooldown reduction boots. So,
what about when you're playing against Renekton? What do you want to do then?
When you're playing against Renekton, you want to just burst him down as fast as you can. He's not very good with his ultimate, so when you're playing against Renekton, try not to initiate when your ultimate isn't up, and when you're playing against him, try to initiate only when his ultimate isn't up, so that he doesn't have that extra AoE damage and stun and stuff like that. And you can dive turret with Renekton. It's no big deal.
Like you just saw there, where you just dive turret and took me out.
Yeah. If you're gonna get the kill, dive the turret. It's just.
Now I just want to go over some more things. Basically, we're gonna have many more videos coming out pretty soon, and what's gonna happen is we're gonna have more of our friends become guests online, but we're the 2 main people for right now. But we'll have more guests coming here and then, like our good friend RC Mac. He'll be periodically on here in many videos that we do. Also, I mean, y'all can be on these videos too if you want to come play with us. That's no problem. But that's basically all, really. So, I mean, right now we're just gonna kind of fast forward. I think we're getting close to the end of the game almost. Actually, no, we still got a little bit to go. So, you want to fast forward a little bit, get towards the good parts of the game coming up.
So right now he has pushed my
I haven't yet.
outer turret.
I bet your outer turret.
And I have pushed his inhibitor. So we'll see how the game goes from here. But basically, as these champions, you want to use your ultimate to do extra damage, and you want to do whatever to get kills, basically. Kills are good for top lane champions. Top lane champions, you get as many kills as you can. They're both top lane solo. Nasus needs solo top. Anyone wants top lane with you, say no. Because he needs
that is a very good point. That is a very good point with Nasus. He has to be solo top. There's nothing else he can do.
Can't break the meta on that one.
Yeah, no, you can't break the meta on that one. That's a very good point. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, so I want to go over something real quick. Nasus, there is a problem. He is not a great, I guess, pusher really. He is a very tough champion to push with, but however, he is a very excellent champion to defend with. Because I mean, he just can sustain himself forever, but he just can't push just because I mean he's susceptible to ganks and all that stuff. But I mean, you can hold a tower forever. So, I mean, you'll see that happen. I mean, coming up in a little bit, there's about to be actually like a great kill on my part that I found awesome. It's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's faster a little bit. Just give it a second. And it's a part where I die with the turret.
So I have no health left. And I'm like, alright, need to get some farm. And then I run away, come so he gets hit by turret. It doesn't matter because he's super tanky. But I have legitimately 85 health. So I'm like, get a little farm up, try to ignite me under a turret. So as we said, go under turret if you want to get kills. It doesn't matter. You can tank it with these two champions. It's no big deal.
Especially with Nasus' lifesteal, that damage you take from the turret, you'll make up in a little bit. So I mean, it's not a big deal if you want to take a turret. But so that was just one thing. You can tank a turret if you like. Don't do it if you know you're gonna die or something like that.
He has now pushed my inhibitor, and his inhibitor's back up. So we'll see how this goes.
So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more, try to get to some more good parts. Here comes another death on my kill on my part.
He just killed me again.
You can see just how great that Q. Yeah, that Q just can wreck. I mean, you can see how fast his health just dropped. About to fast forward a little bit more.
I have my full build now, I think.
You wanna go over that?
Right now I'm building an Atma's Impaler. If you build tanky with Renekton, build it. It gives you great armor, and it gives you attack damage, which he needs to do good, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the thing. It's just, for Renekton, simple, build tanky and damage D. For Nasus, build tanky cooldown reduction. Very simple, nothing too complicated. But, so we're gonna fast forward a little bit more, try to get to the end of the game real quick, because that's where it gets really interesting. Here comes a fight. I can't remember. Did you beat me this time?
No, you killed me.
I killed you again?
Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah, that's right. I think I did.
Look how close these champions are.
Yeah, you can just see
these
how much.
Are very, very, very similar, and they're very, very close in skill and.
That was a close fight. I mean, there was a chance that I thought I was actually gonna die here. You see, I was actually about to win this game, but his inhibitor came up, so I had to retreat. So sadly, with that, I was not able to beat him. So I'm actually about to see him do a counter push on me, which was not fun. I started. This is one of my deaths against him.
Renekton's really good at pushing minions. He can kill them very fast. That little spin does AoE damage.
Yeah, and there's my death.
There's the beginning of the end for King Kong 5.
So now I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit more.
I push his inhibitor again. Push his turret. Slow down, slow down.
Alright, coming up, like I said before, when you're landing against Nasus, once you see that mana bar go down, initiate, get in there, take him out. Because you're about to see that I'm about to have no mana in a second. Right there, I'm losing my mana I'm losing my mana fast now. He just picked up those healths, so now I don't have a mana anymore. And here I have none, and he is actually just
I flashed away, but then he told me, I have no mana. Oh crap. So I was like, alright, let's go.
And here comes
And the good thing about Renekton is he doesn't use mana. So there's almost no limits to him except for cooldown. That's why you build cooldown reduction with those Ionian boosted Lucidity and your Masters. So you should have spin on about a 6-second cooldown. And
there you go.
Move. And this is the game.
Alright, so that's basically it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the Fields of Justice.